today on the menu is homemade lasagna. Ooh. Now, it's not totally from scratch, but it's going to be an easy one, but it's going to feel like you're eating a homemade from scratch one. So let's crack on. So the first thing I need to do is start cooking the mince. Now, I'm actually preparing this for tomorrow because we've been having an awful lot of busy days, and we're getting, you get to the point you really want to have a decent dinner, but by the time you get home, you're exhausted. So this is going to be really good to have in the fridge. I might even cook it tonight, I don't know, and then just reheat it tomorrow, or do the majority of the preparation and then cook it tomorrow. We'll see. Anyway, let's get some of this. I think I've got too much mince because I didn't realise this was my only dish today. It's big enough, but I don't think it's going to be big enough for all this ingredients. But anyway, let's get this on the go. Oh, look at the mess I've made already. So I am picking that up because I know my hob is clean. Right, there's another bit there. Let's get the rest of this in. Right, so it is actually going to be practically homemade, and even to make it homemade is so easy. But the easier way of doing it is, dolmio. It says, yep, lasagna sauce. I do know you can use bolognese sauce as well on the dolmio range. Absolutely perfect and fine. So let's run through a few ingredients while that's cooking. Let me just get a plate out. Do some chopping. So for this you need some minced beef. 500 grams preferably. I went for 750 this time because I thought I had a bigger dish, but I haven't. So let me just pop that there for a minute. Lasagna sheets. You can use the square hard ones in a box, you get on your shelves in the stores, but I do prefer the egg pasta ones. A lot easier. So this is a 3 cheese lasagna. Some mushrooms. And these are the 3 cheeses you're going to be using. Just a normal cheddar. Forget what that one's called, but the fine one, And obviously a mozzarella to make it all gooey and sticky. Right, so that's your base ingredients. Once this is brown, I'm going to start on the cheese sauce. Now the cheese sauce, you can't beat having fresh, homemade. So I highly recommend making that from scratch, and it's no big deal. Personally, I would have preferred a few more mushrooms than that, but it's fine. I think we used a few on yesterday's dinner, so just slice those up. And once your meat is brown, then add them to the meat. Now we're not going to start on the cheese sauce until your meat sauce is sort of cooking, because you're just going to get yourself in a pickle. And actually this does look like quite a lot of mushrooms. So I'm so used to making this. When I make this, I make big portions, bigger sort of dishes. So I get me quantities wrong. Right, while that's still browning off, let me just say, so your lasagna sheets, if you do go for the ones in a box, they come hard. Now what I would recommend is getting some kind of dish like this, lay them in there, try and sort of spread them about a bit, pour boiling water on them, let them soak for 5 minutes. You'll be surprised at how much that will make a difference, because sometimes they'll still be hard in your lasagna layers if you don't do that. Right, this is starting to look well. Me personally likes draining off the dirty juices out of the minced beef. That's looking brown. Right, so there's nothing in there now. Chuck the mushrooms in. Now, if you're making the sauce from scratch, this is at the point now you'd add like a tin of tomatoes, even chopped up tomatoes, some sort of, what is that called? Tomato puree and stuff like that. Dead easy to make. But personally, I do actually like the flavour of this, so I'm just going to go with S. So, ready for this? Right, I did buy 2 jars, but I think one might do it. But with the empty now, I'm just going to top it up with a bit of water, just a little bit. Shake the jar and get the rest of that goodness out of there. Right, let that simmer for 20 minutes. Let's put a lid on that. Homemade cheese sauce. A lump of butter. I'm not measuring, I never measure. And just melt that gently on a low heat. No lumps, it's now starting to sizzle. This is the time now to add flour. I'd say just sort of a handful at a time, see how you get on. Like this. What you're basically making is a roux, what they call a roux. A white sauce base. There you go. I think that's going to need a bit more flour. Now at this stage it should all sort of come to a clump, one clump. So by the look of it, I've probably put a bit too much flour in, but it's not a problem. Right, now that's all come, and you have to cook this out for a couple of minutes. Now start adding your milk slowly. One thing I do advise though, one thing I absolutely advise is use a wooden spoon. And it will turn into a sauce, I promise you. Have patience, do not tip a load of this milk in at one go. So this is thickening up quite nicely. I have swapped hobs actually now, just because it's closer to me. At this point I'm going to add some grated cheddar. Doesn't matter if it's medium, mild, strong, whatever. Preference. Just like a handful or two. You do need patience in making a white sauce. I'm just going to add a little drop of milk in there, but I can guarantee it's actually going to taste better than any jarred one, and it's worth it. It's not hard work. Right, on top of that I'm just going to add a season that. Little bit of salt and pepper, just a little bit. And I'm just going to go for a tiny bit more cheese on there as well. Look a bit lumpy, but it is going to be, it's only the cheese that will melt down. Right, so I'm just going to leave that aside for a bit and wait for the both to be ready. This is going to be ready in about 10 more minutes. So I've just taken that off the heat. I'm just going to leave that aside. I clear up a little bit, grate some cheese and get the preparations ready for the layering. So it's the time. The time's up. Well, it will be in 2 minutes. It's going to take me 2 minutes to do this. Right, so get your dish. I preferably would say a bigger one than that. I always line the bottom of mine. It's going to need trimming. Not everybody starts off with that. I've got a knife. Right, so I start with the bottom. Meat sauce is done. Yeah, it's looking lovely. And start layering up. So you do your meat sauce, cheese sauce, pasta, and repeat. So I'm going to have lots of leftovers. I can tell straight away because my dish is so small. Cheese sauce. Another pasta sheet. I'm just going to get scissors to help trim this one. Perfect. Meat sauce. Right, so you should be able to get 3 layers out of that. So this is your top layer. Again, everybody does things different. Let's just trim that up a bit. Cheese sauce. So I have actually used all that. I thought I was going to have leftovers. It's a little bit long there, isn't it? I'm just going to trim a little bit of that off. That's also the good thing with egg pasta. You can cut it very easily. Right, cheese sauce. Let's get the ingredients. Right, we're going to start off with the cheddar. I've probably done a bit too much of this as well, actually. Yeah, I probably have. Some cheddar. Now mozzarella. Now a little tip, double cream. Just a tiny splash on top. Just wipe my hands. And then your parmesan. Your finely grated stuff like that. This really is only for flavour, so you don't need too much of that. Definitely too much. And there you go. A free cheese sauce lasagna. You're going to feel like you've got a homemade meal with that. With this now, you'd pop it in the oven for about 20-25 minutes, gas mark, 4.5 to 5, nice and low. You don't really want to burn the top. Now this might actually be going into the oven. I'll just ask Dan. Are you having this tonight now, not tomorrow?
Please.
He can smell it, you see. It's good stuff. Right, I'm going to put it in the oven. I'll show you how to dish this up and what with. Get this into the oven and then clear up. So, like I said, gas mark 5 for about 20-25 minutes. Keep checking on it. So if you are going to be making that for the next day, which you are able to, either wait for all the ingredients to cool down before layering up, or do it to the stage I got it to, let it cool down on a worktop, cover it, put it in a fridge overnight. It'll be absolutely fine. But what you will notice is your family is going to smell it. It is so delicious that they ain't going to want to wait till tomorrow. Oh, that's hot. So how long did that take? 20 minutes, just a little over, to do all the cooking on that. You couldn't even phone a takeaway up in that time. And let's be honest, it is so much better than those ready-made ones in the supermarket. Give it a try. It's dead easy. Right, next step. So while that's cooking, got some chips on the go. A little homemade lasagna is always good with chips. In here, frying pan, a knob of butter. I'll just put you down for a minute. This is the best way of doing garlic bread. And it's quick as well. Don't be worrying about putting these things in your oven. And I'll tell you what, cheapest. Just 32p for garlic bread. And you're guaranteed that this is still going to come out lovely. So a knob of butter. I'm not going to switch this on yet. That's enough for Dan. I don't particularly like it. Now and again, now and again. Just making myself a cup of coffee. Now, if you are a little bit strapped for cash, or you think this sounds like an expensive meal, it's not. Let me run through to how you can make this cheaper. I've been doing my calculations. Right, so for a meal, a homemade meal that will feed 4 decent people, or if you wanted, you could stretch it to up to 6, I'd say, if you've got kids or something. This meal is going to cost you, if you did your own meat sauce, it's going to cost you £5 and 1p. £5 and 1p. You'd pay more than that for fish and chips for one person. You know, that is a good price for one homemade meal. Now, if you didn't want to make your own meat sauce and you wanted to go with the dolmio, so deduct a tin of tomatoes, and now it's going to cost you £5.73. £5.73 to feed a family for the night. There you go. No worries. This is a cheap homemade meal. Also, another thing. Don't think it's a load of palaver when you're out in your van. It's not. Pre-make it. Take it with you. Put it in the freezer. You can freeze it. Keep it in the fridge. It will do. You can keep it. You don't have to eat out of tins when you live in a motorhome or going on holiday. I understand the fact that you want to go away in a motorhome, have time away from cooking. But if you pre-made one of these, all you'd be doing is putting it in the oven. You'd actually have it quicker than if you had to order a takeaway. Let's be real, it takes everyone half an hour to decide even what they want before they get ordering. So there you go. Right, I'm just doing the garlic bread. It's time to dish up. Okay, I was getting a bit carried away with the mathematics just now. So I have overcooked maybe the little top a little bit, but Dan likes it like that. We like it like that, so it's not to trouble. And there's your garlic bread, look. Don't that look delicious? Cheap garlic bread you honestly can make lovely. Right, let's dish this up. Absolutely plenty, and I haven't been shy with Dan. This is actually a big portion. So there you have it. Homemade lasagna. I hope you enjoyed that today. If you have any ideas of some meals that you'd like to see me make, let me know in the comments down below. You're going to leave me now to eat my portion, and we'll see you again for the next video. Don't forget, let me know what else you'd like to watch me cook. Bye for now.